In the world of martial arts, the practicality of Aikido has been a subject of debate for a long time. This traditional Japanese martial art is often questioned when compared to more functional and modern disciplines like mixed martial arts, MMA, especially in real-world combat situations. In today's video, we will examine just how effective Aikido can be when facing off against a professional MMA fighter. Some of the techniques in Aikido are known for being extremely painful, as demonstrated by this Japanese Aikido fighter taking on an MMA fighter. While the MMA fighter looks intimidating with his fierce expression, his actual fighting abilities don't quite match his physical appearance. From the start of the match, he is pushed to the edge of the ring, unable to break free from the firm grasp of the Aikido master. Eventually, the MMA fighter is thrown onto the canvas and the two engage in ground combat. The Aikido practitioner gives him no chance to recover. In the end, the MMA fighter taps out, unable to endure the excruciatingly painful Aikido lock any longer. So, what happens when Aikido and MMA face off under MMA rules? In an MMA match, the fighter's hands are wrapped and taped. However, the following fighter proves that gloves are not a barrier to executing Aikido's joint locking techniques. He successfully brings his opponent down using a flawlessly executed wrist lock. Not just once, but repeatedly, the Aikido fighter manages to take down his opponent multiple times, dominating the fight with his deadly Aikido techniques. Aikido is a Japanese martial art developed in the early 20th century by Morihei Ueshiba. It focuses on harmonizing with the opponent's energy rather than opposing it directly. Aikido techniques involve circular movements that redirect the opponent's force, using their momentum against them. Practitioners of Aikido typically avoid direct confrontation, choosing instead to guide attacks into controlled movements. The techniques in Aikido emphasize efficiency, requiring minimal physical strength while applying joint locks, throws, and precise strikes. Aikido combat often involves manipulating the attacker's joints, such as the wrists, elbows, or shoulders, to immobilize or unbalance them. However, many critics argue that Aikido is less practical in competitive fighting or real-world scenarios compared to martial arts like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, or boxing, which are more commonly seen in MMA. Yet, as we've seen earlier, there are Aikido fighters who have won matches even under MMA rules, including wearing protective gloves. Next, we have Posma, a 23-year-old Aikido fighter from the Netherlands who faced Abdullah Nalbant, a 21-year-old MMA fighter from Turkey.
Rothecke, bist du bereit? Blauecke, bist du bereit? Auf einen Fernkampf. Los! So, Kerl. Rüste ranfahren. Rüste.
The fight began, with both fighters exchanging jabs and straight punches. Soon after, Posma realized his opponent's weakness was in his lower body. He seized Abdullah's leg and slammed him to the ground. They engaged in ground combat for an extended period, with Posma persistently attempting to apply a submission, while Abdullah struggled to escape the difficult position. In the final moments of the first round, Abdullah managed to break free from the hold, and they resumed stand-up fighting. However, it didn't take long for Posma to once again grab his opponent's leg, forcing the fight back to the ground. Posma came very close to winning the bout when he successfully locked Abdullah's arm, but the first round ended just in time. Saving Abdullah. In the second round, the fighters began once again by trading punches, but soon after, Posma forced Abdullah into a clinch position. This time, Abdullah was unable to escape the impressive Aikido hold. From this fight, we can see how Aikido practitioners demonstrate that their martial art is highly effective in all types of combat situations. Meanwhile, for defense, Aikido practitioners often block attacks by blending with the incoming force and redirecting it through circular movements. This technique focuses on disrupting the opponent's balance, making them vulnerable to being neutralized. We can see this technique in action during a duel between an MMA fighter with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background and an Aikido practitioner. The two engaged in a clinch for an extended period before the MMA fighter finally managed to take down the Aikido master with his immense strength. However, this had little impact on the Aikido master. Even while under pressure in ground combat, he managed to apply a neck lock, forcing the MMA fighter to submit. Overall, Aikido's philosophy of blending with force, using circular movements, and relying on minimal strength sets it apart as a martial art focused on harmony and highly effective self-defense. Aikido techniques can also be adapted to various fighting situations, making it versatile for different types of opponents and arenas. In a match between a one-armed Aikido master and a professional MMA fighter, despite relying on only one arm, the Aikido master managed to give the MMA fighter a tough time. He was even able to hold his own during their clinch exchanges. At one point, the Aikido master successfully brought the MMA fighter to the ground. But he didn't stop there. He continued to dominate, even during their ground fight. Aikido primarily focuses on self-defense and lacks the deadly offensive techniques found in other martial arts like karate or Muay Thai. In situations where brutal and aggressive attacks occur, Aikido practitioners may not have a strong enough immediate response to halt the threat. This was evident in another scenario where an Aikido practitioner, wearing white pants and significantly older than his MMA opponent, faced a much younger and more aggressive fighter. In this match, the MMA fighter dominated the duel with powerful punches. The MMA fighter only needed 30 seconds to win the fight, bringing the Aikido master to the ground and ending the bout quickly.